Okay, so let's start. First, thank you very much for coming. Today I will talk about NoCode and business process, and I will try to explain why the combination of the two technologies can give you superpowers. In this presentation, I will start with a brief introduction. Then I will talk about how we build apps with NoCode. Then I will show you some kind of business process management system. And then I will conclude and show you how the association of NoCode and business process will help you in your business. So first of all, I'm the founder and CEO of Pickaform. There is a small island on the top right because I'm coming from Reunion Island. I worked more than 20 years in the IT projects and mostly in organization and business process. So my first job is business process. I worked a lot with IBM companies. I was an IBM consultant. I also worked 6 years in the computer game industry. I was elected IBM champion in 2019 for my work on business process with IBM technologies. And I've developed and deployed more than 150 applications for my customers, and mainly with business process. So this is really the heart of my job. Most importantly, my motto is keep it simple, stupid, and this is something we try to have all the time at Pickaform. So in my career, I used a lot of technical tools, a lot of difficult tools to use for business process, especially IBM tools. And this is my life. It should always be simple, but it's never simple. So I decided to create a simple no-code solution to address business process management. So we'll talk about building apps with no-code. First of all, as you probably know here, no-code means a lot today. No-code can mean marketing, business intelligence, workflow automation. I won't list everything here, but I will focus on building enterprise applications with no-code. So this is the focus of this conference, how we build enterprise applications. We have to note that no-code doesn't necessarily mean simple. Maybe you know that too. And there is a scale of complexity with no-code tools. On the left side, you have no-code tools which require few technical skills for business users. And on the right, you have also no-code tools that requires a lot of technical skills. Okay, it's a bit cliche, my slide, but it's not so far from reality, maybe. When you build applications with no-code, you have to take into consideration if you will use a stack of simple tools. For example, if you use Airtable plus SoftR plus Make. So it's a stack of no-code tools. Or if you use more integrated solutions. There are pros and cons to the two solutions. When you use a stack of tools, it's often easier, more flexible, and you have less vendor lock-in, because you can change a tool easier. But you have also more point of failures and more dependencies, and of course, more subscriptions. I won't debate here if it's good or not. It's probably a matter of taste. Some no-coders prefer to have a stack of simple tools. Some others prefer more complex no-code tools. But what is for sure is that if you want to work with bigger companies, they always prefer integrated solution. So they prefer to have less components and more integration. So you have to keep that in mind. Another parameter which is very important to take into consideration is the trust in the tool you deliver to your customer. And the level of trust depends on the no-code stack. Some no-code tools are only on the public cloud, and some can be hosted on private cloud or on-premise. Of course, the less trust is for public cloud, and the more trust for on-premise and self-hosted solutions. Some customers of mine told me, I don't want to work, for example, with public cloud. So it's a parameter to take into consideration when you use no-code tools for enterprise applications. So now if you look at the ecosystem, when you want to build an application for an enterprise, you can build simple apps or complex applications. When you build simple apps with simple forms, limited features, you can generally use no-code and no-code for business users. No-code easy to use. But if you want to create complex applications with complex forms, many features, usually it's more a techie job and it's low code or code, generally. So the question is, could we find something in between, which is simple no code for business users, but which can build complex applications? If you take all those parameters into consideration, the no-code market currently is mainly used for small business solutions, mobile apps, MVPs. I said mainly, not only. There are, of course, exceptions, but it's mainly for small business solutions, mobile apps, and MVPs. So the question is also, could we change that? That's where I will talk about business process management. First, business process is absolutely everywhere. Maybe I have a small bias for this because I've done this all my life, but I see business process everywhere. For example, when you follow an opportunity, a lead, it's a process. The recruitment is a process. The annual review of employees, it's a process. So you have process absolutely everywhere. So small companies need business process, big companies also. But if you want to address bigger companies, it's really a key feature to address bigger company market. Of course, business process means a lot. On the left, you see a very simple process with just a few steps. And on the right, something very complicated I wouldn't like to work with. The standard way to go with BPM, business process management, is something called BPMN, Business Process Model and Notation. Do you know this in the room? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, great. So business process management tools are generally a bit complex for business users. The advantage is that it can cover absolutely all business case, even complex case. So it really covers everything. The problem is that not everybody speaks BPMN. You have to be trained. There is a cost for training. And sometimes companies don't want to go into something very difficult to implement for just small workflows in their companies. And the fact is, I've seen there was a study about this, 95% of the process, in fact, have less than 7 steps. So the question is, why should I use a very complex tool for a small process of 5 to 7 steps? People sometimes think they do BPM just by changing state of a field. This is very common now with the no-code apps. For example, you have an incident to solve or bug to solve, and you have a field with a status, and the field it goes to open, to in progress, to analysis, to solve, and they think it's a business process. Of course, it's a process, but it's not really what we call business process management. We also see a lot of Kanban boards, which is the trend currently. Kanban boards are very good for straight process, when you can move forward or backward. But when it's a complex process, it doesn't solve the case. For example, I have a customer who solved client claims, and he has more than 100 client claims a day to solve. He can't just put those client claims in a Kanban board. So we need something more complex than that. So state change and Kanban is not really business process because there is no real decisional process. There is not a user who takes a decision. like accept, decline, cancel. There is no routing business rules. In a business process, you can have specific rules that, for example, say if this field is more than 700, then it goes to this step. Otherwise, it goes to another step. It's called conditional routing. And you don't have either what we call the traceability, the history of the workflow, which say which step, which decision was taken, when, who took the decision. So you don't have that with state change and Kanban. So same question as for simple apps and complex apps. I ask another question. Could we find something between what I call fake BPM and BPMN tools? Fake BPM is changing a state or using a Kanban board. So you can solve straight processes. Any user can use it. And BPMN tools, it solves all the cases, but it's sometimes difficult to handle because it requires skills. So if we could find something just in between, it would be great. That's where the combination of NoCode and business process is really interesting. So this is a sum up of what I said just before. If we can find something between simple apps and complex apps, and something between fake BPM and BPM tools, this zone is really interesting to build application for enterprises. How do we solve that? First of all, between simple apps and complex apps, the heart of the application are forms. So we need better forms. Better forms for the layout, better forms for the quantity of data that it can handle, and better forms for the features too. Same thing for the BPM. To find something between fake BPM and BPM tools, we would need something which gives you the ability to model a process without the BPMN skills. We also need the ability to trigger automatically some actions when your workflow is changing steps, like sending an email, calling an API, sending an SMS automatically. And we need a tool that covers those 95% cases which are simple. So now I will show you how we solved it at Pickaform. So first of all, I don't know if we've not seen all of you yet, but you can come on our booth. We'll show you a demonstration. But we have integrated a simple form designer, so business users can create very complex forms without any complexity. So you can cover very complex case. We have integrated a process designer, which enable users to build their business process without BPMN skills. And we have also integrated the data in our solution. And about trust, our solution is public cloud, private cloud, or on-premise. So if you merge all those elements together, I'll show you an example. Maybe the screen is a bit light, so I'm not sure you see very well. But this is an example of complex forms with a lot of fields, complex layout with sections. So we can do that with Pickaform without technical skills. We can enable feature at the form level with just a switch. So we can enable workflows, commands, emails, just a switch. Yeah, it's too bright. The screen is too bright, I'm sorry. But you are supposed to see that when you create a workflow, a business process with Pickaform, you just list all the steps you need, and the graph is generated automatically on the right. So the first step is just to list the steps you need. And the second step is to define all the decisions you can take at each step. If you take this decision, it will go there. If you take this decision, it will go there. And the graph is generated automatically on the right, so you don't have to take care about the graph part. So really, in minutes, you can build a workflow, a business process, and even business users can do it without any BPMN skills. For the end user, when there is a workflow attached to a form, the end user sees exactly that. At the top of the form, they will see a header, and this header will say the current step in the process, what they have to do at this step, the current actors in charge of this step, and the possible decisions they can take. They are just buttons, so the users just click on the buttons to take the decision, and then the workflow goes to the next step in the process, and it goes to the next actors. The end user also see the flow chart in his form, directly integrated. And most importantly, at the end of the form, you have all the history of what happened on the process. So you see at this step, this decision was taken, you have the date and time, you know who took the decision, and you see the comment if there was one. Now, I will give you just some example of outcomes of our customers who were using NoCode and BPMN together. So first kind of customers is, of course, no-coders and makers. I'm sure there are some in that room. So thanks to BPMN, BPM, sorry, they can reach bigger companies. Because often it's difficult to enter bigger companies only with NoCode. When you show business process, generally it converts the customers. So I have an example of a freelancer, and thanks to this combination of NoCode and business process, this year he could get 5 new customers, which are plus more than 100 users. So it was really interesting for him, and this is customers he could not have reached without this business process attached to the NoCode. For him, of course, it's more consulting opportunities and 30% growth. For IT companies, also, I have a partner in the south of France, and now they can build BPMN solutions without requiring BPMN skills. So it's faster and cheaper than competitors. So they build their custom CRM with a custom business process inside, and now they resell the CRM they built with our no-code solution. So they behave like a publisher, but they are not actually a publisher. They are just selling the solution they built with NoCode. And last, for customers, of course, they are now fully autonomous to create their business process internally without requiring any consulting. So for them, it's for agility, productivity, and return on investment. The example here is our biggest customer. It's called BNP Paribas. It's a bank. And thanks to this solution, they deployed 9 BPM applications in 9 months. And it's really a record in the field, because usually in the banking industry, it's very long to implement new applications. And thanks to that, they could deploy 9 applications in 9 months. And most importantly, we didn't work with the IT department. We only worked with the business ownership department. And they are non-technical people. They learned how to do a process in maybe 2 hours, and they were absolutely independent for building their applications. So that's it for this presentation. It's short. So it was just to explain that the combination of NoCode and BPM can give you superpowers to address bigger companies with NoCode and a very simple solution. Thank you. One of our customers came with me, and yeah, if you want. Okay, thank you.
In fact, I came just to have a coffee with David. And he asked me if he can use me. So it's okay, I say yes, I come with you. So I am René Louis Herda, president of a computing company. And we are about 100 people, mainly mostly technical people and experts in different fields. And we have a small team of functional consultants. And the thing is, when the functional consultants find in the company, in our customers, some process to digitalize or to automatize, they ask for the technical people, you know, to do it, to make the application. So when it's very complex, technical people love it and they are very interested. When it's very simple, they are not so motivated. So the thing is how to to answer to these needs. We're a Microsoft partner, so we use Power Apps. You should know. But they needed something more simple and powerful. So they searched for the market study for all the no-code product, and they said no-code, not low-code. They liked Airtable, and when they find Pickaform, they said, wow, it's like Airtable, but we can do business process, workflow. We can present the information in a better way than we can do. It's more powerful in the form than we can do with Airtable. The other thing was when I realized an app, and after I want another app with other products, you can't access to the data of from one app to the other. So it's not interoperable. So with Pickaform, it is interoperable. So when we make many apps, we can build information system. The other thing is we do a lot of security assessment for our customer. So we make an audit of the product. So everything was on the green, and we are still it's still on supervision because we want to be sure that we always still stay on the green. In different way, the way it's developed, and also the way we can securize the data inside the different apps. The other things for some of our customer, it's that it's a French product. Can be pride for French people to have a nice French product, and it is in a French data center, but for some company, we can even host it in their own data center. And it's the only product, no code, we can do that. So we can go so far in security environment that we decided to take this product. In the first step, when the functional consultant asked me to have another product, I said no. And when they present me what they want to do with that, it was very interesting. So how do they use it? When they find some use case in customer, and they said, okay, it's less than 2 days to develop the apps the customer needs, I said, okay, just do it, okay, without asking any money to the customer. So they do it, and they show it to the customer. So we don't make the presentation of Pickaform. We just develop for them the application that answer to the needs. One time on two, they said, okay, let's go. One time on two, okay, it's an investment. We do. So, and after, what we when we do that, we also go to see because we work with the business people, but we also go to see the technical people, the IT services. Why? Because it's important, the product is a great product, is adopted by everybody. And we don't want user for our customer just bring shadow system. We don't want that. So we go to see the technical people, the IT department, and we present why and how this environment could be good for them. So more and more, this last month, IT budgets are going down, and there are a lot of needs who come from the user. So the idea is to let the user doing their answer themselves to their own things in an environment which is led by the IT services, and where we developed this product, we implemented this product, everything goes well, and they are globally happy of that. So this is what I wanted to say, and thank you for the coffee and for my presentation.
Thank you very much, René-Louis. Thank you very much. And thank you, all of you. If you want a specific demo, we are at booth B2 downstairs. Thank you very much for coming.